This is my, well, in another life, and people may think, like, oh, why in another life? Why not this life? That's because, well, in this life, like, my roots, they're made, I've set my groundings, I've planted my flowers, so there's no more restarting that garden. Like, once once it's in motion, it's in motion. Like, there's nothing I could do but just like continue the growth from here on. So I want you guys in the comments to also tell me, like, if you guys had your in another life, like, what would you want? What would you want to be different? Well, I don't know why I just did that. What would you want to be different from this life? And I know it's not a good thing to say, but the thing is, like, after you guys hear me out, like, hear mine out, maybe, I guess you could say understand. So let's just get into it. Where do I start? I never know. In another life, I would know where to start. Not just from, like, in life, but in poetry. Sometimes there's so much going on in my head, I can't even, like, jot down where I want to, like, a starting point to move forward from. And it's the same with, like, life. It's like, I feel like I'm all over the place, and there's so much places and directions that I feel like will take me where I want to go, but some might just lead me to a dead end, forcing me to have to go back and restart again. So, in another life, I wish I knew where to start. In another life, I wish maybe I didn't know so much. I find that people who seem to be blindsided by things seem to have an easier time navigating throughout the world because you're not really paying attention to everything at once, causing you to be a little bit self aware, which also gets rid of some social cues. So you just do what you do, and that's like works for you. So I don't know, they seem to be doing quite swell in life. So yeah, I kind of do wish that maybe I didn't know so much. In another life, I wish my emotions weren't as intense as they were. I wish I had the capability to continue to push myself and just like not break down as much as I do, and just like be strong is what it is. Even like some people, they'll be fighting battles, but like they will push themselves. But me, I'm not that type of person. When my body breaks down, it breaks down. So maybe in another life it would be a little bit different. In another life, maybe I wasn't so harsh on myself. Maybe I didn't. Maybe this is something I could even work on in this one, but so far it's kind of hard to because I'm always challenging myself. But maybe I wish that I didn't set the bar for myself ridiculously high to the point where it seems like it's beyond reaching. And I guess every time I get a little higher, I set that bar 50 times up again. So maybe, again, I could be a little, like, less harsh on myself and more realistic. And in another life, I wasn't so lonely. If me being in front of people who didn't really like me meant being less alone, then maybe in another life that would be okay, because I guess you could say that things that you don't see won't hurt you. So maybe if those people didn't even like me, I would be just fine as long as I had a place. And that's something I can't do in this life. Why? Because when I met with these people's faces and the words that they say, the discomfort that it brings, knowing what I look like sitting up in front of people who don't like me, well, it's quite disturbing, and it's something that plays with like the energy inside of me. It just like leaves me uneasy, so that would never go. In another life, I actually enjoyed life. I didn't feel like I was in a race against myself and constantly having to work and just work and not giving myself any time to breathe or get out there. And in another life, maybe I wasn't so complicated. Maybe I choose to go down like a noble path, such as others do, and actually go to school and pursue a career of something that I actually want to do, and not just like want to live off the grid and, I guess you could say, grow up being different and then having a future that's also destined by that difference. So maybe it would be different in another life. I mean, maybe in another life I just had things my way, you know? Maybe I didn't let people down even by just standing up for myself, or people wouldn't come into my life with the intentions of just harming me just because they can and taking advantage of me just because they see good. Um, Maybe in another life I would be able to stand up for myself, and maybe I wasn't always looking for the good in people, allowing myself to be trampled on just to find something sweet within the core. But for now, I guess all I do is long for more. But I guess you could say in another life I would want things to go a million different ways. But I'm not gonna keep going because I'll ramble on forever. So maybe just in another life I was just someone completely different. Maybe, maybe. What would you guys be in another life? I'm very curious. What would you change? Who would you want to be? Realistically, not like, because I've stated different characteristics and traits that I wanted, but I've never said like I want to be Drake or I want to be Brent Fayaz. No, there's just like another view on life that I want to see what that would look like, but I don't. It's not that I want to be someone else, but there's just like some traits that just I would want to get rid of and see where that took me. And I'm talking about, I don't want to be someone else, as I make a video about in another life. But I mean, the life would still be mine. But the thing is that maybe that what I said doesn't make sense, because if it were another life, I wouldn't be me, and me being me would be this person who's in front of you. But me being another me would not be me. This sounds like a tongue twister. But it wouldn't be me. Like, it wouldn't be this person. It would be another person, like Jaquil or some shit like that. I don't freaking know. But I'm curious. No, for real. What would you guys change? What would you guys want to, like, do differently or just see? Please tell me, for I'm curious. And I hope I'm not the only one who just thinks, like, sometimes I wish to be different and not this different.